What Blood Owes by Darian Britt. Chapter 1. The first thing Malik Vale ever learned about debt was that it did not sit still. It followed men home from back rooms and tire shops. It rode in glove compartments. It waited under mattresses, behind cracked phone screens, in envelopes taped beneath kitchen drawers. It sat with women at tables after the children had gone to sleep, counting what was left after food, rent, medicine, gas, and shame. His uncle Silas taught him that. Silas Vale did not carry a gun where people could see it. He did not have to. He was a large man made larger by stillness, with silver at his temples and a stare that made grown men explain themselves before he asked a question. In the neighborhood, people called him Mr. Vale to his face. Behind his back, they called him Shark. Not loud, though. Never loud. Malik was 13 the first time Silas let him carry the bag. It was black leather, soft from age, heavier than it looked. Inside were envelopes, receipts, loose cash bound in rubber bands, and a red ledger with names written so neatly they looked blessed. Malik remembered thinking, the devil, if he kept books, probably had beautiful handwriting. Don't look in the book, Silas said. Malik looked the moment his uncle stepped into the corner store. He was not brave, he was curious. His mother always said curiosity was the first step toward either wisdom or death. She never said which one came more often. The ledger was full of names that he knew. Langston from the tire shop, Deacon Bell from Mount Olive, Mrs. Reed, who made sweet potato pies and always smelled like flour and peppermint. Beside each name was an amount, then another amount, then a date, then a word in red ink. Late, soft, liar, useful. Malik ran his finger near the page without touching it. The numbers looked alive. They grew when people missed days. They bent around excuses. They followed names from one line to the next. That was when he understood. His uncle did not own people because they owed him money. He owned them because he knew what kind of fear each person answered to. By the time Malik was 27, he knew every kind. He knew the fear of man who borrowed to keep business alive and could not admit that the business had been dead for months. He knew the fear of a mother who borrowed for a lawyer and found out innocence still needed a retainer. He knew the fear of gamblers, preachers, drunks, lovers, liars, dealers, barbers, mechanics, cops, and men who said, "I got you Friday," with Tuesday already shaking in their voice. Most of all, he knew that the fear of being family to Silas Vale. Family was supposed to mean shelter in the Vale house. It meant standing close enough to the teeth to smell what they had eaten. Silas called Malik his nephew in public. In private, he called him bait. "You got a face that people trust," Silas would say. "That ain't power, that's bait." Malik would smile. Silas liked the smile. He thought it meant Malik understood his place. It did not. On a Thursday night in November, rain turned the city streets black and slick. Malik stood outside the Blue Room, a lounge with no sign, no real music, and a back office where Silas did most of his quiet work. Across the street, the skyline glowed through the rain. Every lit window looked like another life Malik had never been allowed to want. Under his coat he held an envelope. Inside was one page torn from his uncle's private ledger. Not the red book, the other book. The one nobody was supposed to know existed. The page contained 5 names, 3 police badge numbers, 1 judge, and 1 debt, marked not in dollars, but blood. Malik had stolen it 2 nights earlier from behind the false bottom of Silas's desk. He had expected blackmail, hidden accounts, maybe proof that half the city was dirtier than it pretended. He had not expected his father's name. Darius Vale, dead 12 years, debt unpaid. Beside it, in Silas's hand, were 3 words that had been chewing through Malik's sleep ever since. Sister knows nothing. His mother had lied to him. His uncle had built a throne out of secrets, and Malik, whom had spent his life being called bait, had decided it was time to find out what bait became when it learned how to bite. Inside the blue room, Silas was waiting. So were the men. So was the debt. Malik crossed the street with the envelope flat against his chest. The rain came down harder, and for 1 second, the water running along the curb looked like something alive circling under the surface. Malik smiled. This time, nobody saw it. Uncle and nephew. The blue room smelled like old cigar smoke, lemon oil, damp wool, and burnt coffee. Malik had known that smell since boyhood. Silas made men drink coffee while he decided how much mercy would cost them. There were 7 men inside when Malik entered. Rome Bell leaned near the bar, arms folded across his chest. Rome was big enough to make doorways look narrow and mean enough to enjoy it. Junie Sparks sat near the front with one hand inside his coat. 2 Crawford brothers stood under the green exit light. The others stood where they always stood, trained by Silas without knowing they had been trained. Silas sat at the back table. He did not look up. That was one of his habits. He made men arrive before he acknowledged them. A small cruelty, but Silas liked small cruelties. They did less paperwork than big ones. You're late, Silas said. Malik shook rain from his coat by 2 minutes. That's late. Bridge was backed up. The bridge don't work for me. Malik took the insult and set it somewhere inside himself with all the others. Silas lifted up his glass, but did not drink. He was dressed in a charcoal suit, black tie, gold tie clip. His face was calm in the way a locked door is calm. Bag. Malik placed the leather bag on the table. Silas opened it and counted it without seeming to count. He removed 3 envelopes and slid one to the side, one short. Langston asked for 2 days. He asked you? His daughter's sick. You went to the hospital? No. Then you don't know shit. The room stayed still. Silas closed the bag. When I put you on collections, what did I tell you? People pay on time or they pay in other ways. And never let the story lower the number. And Malik stared at the table, feeling sorry is how the hook comes out. So why am I looking at Langston's envelope and seeing air? Because I gave him 2 days. Silas smiled. not kindly. You gave him? Rome chuckled from the bar. Malik looked over. Rome stopped chuckling, but not because he was afraid, because he was interested. Silas noticed that too. Silas noticed everything. You don't give what belongs to me, Silas said. You carry it. You count it. You bring it back. That's the job. I handled it. No, you perform mercy with somebody else's money. The men lowered their eyes. Silas leaned back. You think kindness makes you different from me? Malik said nothing. You think that's the line? I'm cruel, you're kind. I'm old, you're new. I'm the monster, you're the man who found a better way? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Silence don't hide arrogance. It just dresses it better. Rome smiled again. Silas opened the red ledger to Langston's name and wrote something at the bottom of the page. Tomorrow morning, Silas said, you go back. You collect what he owes, principal, interest, penalty, and you apologize. For what? For making him think that you had the authority to be gentle. Malik felt the old anger come up. He had swallowed that anger since boyhood, since Silas first brought him into rooms where men begged, lied, cursed, and prayed in the same breath. His mother hated it. Leave that boy alone, Tasha used to say. Silas always answered the same way. The boy is watching whether I let him or not. That much had been true. Malik had watched Silas break men without touching them. He had watched them forgive a debt and gain a servant. He had watched them hurt a man on Monday and pay that same man rent on Friday, leaving the man confused about whether he had been ruined or rescued. That was Silas's gift. He made people grateful for the shape of the wound. You do that easily, Malik said. Silas paused. The room heard the edge. I do what? Turn need into punishment. Silas looked almost pleased. There he is. Rome pushed off the bar slightly. Malik kept his hands at his sides. Silas slid Langston's empty envelope across the table. Or can you pay it? How much? 4,000. He owes 1,200. Not anymore. Malik stared at the ledger. There it is again. A number became another number because Silas had touched it. You want respect? Silas asked. No. You want my check? No. Then what the hell do you want? Malik thought of his father's name, his mother's silence, the hidden ledger. Sister knows nothing. I want the truth. Silas stared at him. Then he laughed. The truth is what men ask for before they learn they can't afford it. He picked up the red ledger and held it out. Go collect Langston. Malik took the book. For a second, their hands touched over the cover. Uncle and nephew. Blood and debt. Silas leaned in. Whatever you think you found, he said quietly, put it back. Malik did not blink. Silas smiled, and Malik knew the con had already begun. Chapter 2. The con begins. The next morning, Malik went to Langston's tire shop before sunrise. The shop sat at the end of Pulaski Avenue beside a boarded-up seafood place and a church with a crooked cross. Rainwater sat in black pools across the cracked parking lot. A hand-painted sign in the window said, open. though lights were off and the door was locked. Malik knocked once, no answer. He knocked again. Langston appeared behind the glass in a gray sweatshirt, eyes swollen from no sleep. He was close to 60, when greasing his lines of his hands and careful manners of a man who had spent years trying not to offend dangerous people. When he saw Malik, his face sank. "I told you," Langston said through the glass. 2 days. "I know. Then why the hell are you here?" "Because Silas doesn't know how to wait." Langston closed his eyes. The lock turned. Inside, the shop smelled of rubber, motor oil, and bitter coffee. Ties were stacked against the walls. On the counter, a framed photograph showed Langston standing between a woman in a nurse scrubs and a teenage girl holding a basketball trophy. His daughter. Maybe sick, maybe not. Silas's voice crawled back through Malik's head. "You don't know shit." That was the poison of Silas's teaching. It made doubt feel like intelligence. Langston opened the register. "I got 600. Keep it." The old man froze. Malik set the red ledger on the counter. Langston looked at it like it had a pulse. "You trying to get me killed?" "No." "What you doing then?" "Offered you a chance to owe me instead." Langston backed away. "I ain't playing no games with Silas. This isn't a game." "It is if he don't know." Malik opened the ledger to Langston's page. At the bottom, in Silas's red ink, were 2 words. Test nephew, not collect. Not punish. Test nephew. Silas had sent him here to see what he would do, so Malik would give him something worth seeing. He tore the page from the ledger. Langston made a sound low in his throat. "Boy, you done lost your damn mind?" "Probably." You can't rip a debt out of Silas's book." "I can if I put a better one in." Langston stared at him. Malik removed a folded sheet from his coat and slid it across the counter. It was a list of names and numbers, some crossed out, some circled. "What is this?" "People who owe my uncle. People who hate on him. People who hate on my uncle. People who need to know they're not alone." Langston did not touch it. Malik said Silas controls people one at a time. "I'm going to show them that they're a part of the same machine." "Why tell me?" "Because you know everybody. I fix tires. You hear confessions while you do it." Langston looked at the photograph on the counter. "My daughter really is sick. I believe you." "That don't mean shit." "It means more than it did yesterday." Langston laughed under his breath. "You sound like him when he was young." Malik hated that. "You knew him then?" Everybody knew Silas. He wasn't always the old man at the table. What was he? Hungry. That word followed Malik out of the shop. By noon, the city started to dry, but the sky stayed gray and heavy. Malik made 6 stops. At each one, he did not collect. He listened. At the barber shop on Gaines, Mr. Pritchard told him Rome Bell was keeping side envelopes. At a house off Battery Street, a woman named Celeste said Junie Sparks took her ring even after she paid. At a car wash near the interstate, a cousin of one Crawford brother said Silas had money running through a funeral home. None of it surprised Malik. All of it changed the shape of the map. Silas's empire looked solid From outside, up close, it was cracked everywhere, patched together with fear, favors, and men pretending loyalty was not just fear wearing a cleaner shirt. Malik did not need to make the empire collapse. He only needed to show everyone it had already started. At 3 o'clock, he went to see Nia Cross. Nia kept Silas's book, which meant she was either the most trusted person in the organization or the last one Silas planned to kill. She worked from a second floor office above a closed dental clinic, where the blinds were always half drawn and the coffee was always fresh. She opened the door before Malik knocked. "You're late." Everybody keeps saying that. Maybe clocks are trying to save your ass. Nia was 34, sharp-eyed, narrow-shouldered, and elegant in a way that had nothing soft in it. She wore her hair pulled back, sleeves rolled to the elbow. A small pale scar cut through her left eyebrow. Her desk was clean except for an adding machine, a laptop, 2 ledgers, and a ceramic bowl of peppermints nobody ever touched. Malik stepped inside. She locked the door. "You tore a page out of the red book," she said. "News travels. Papers travels. News leaks." "Silas told you?" "No. The book told me." She picked up a photocopy of Langston's page. Malik's smile disappeared. "I made copies years ago," she said. "Insurance." "Against Silas?" "Against men. Silas just takes up most of the cabinet space." He looked at her, then said, "You knew about the private ledger?" Neil went still. There it was. First real card on the table. "The private ledger," she said, "is not something smart people mention in rooms that may haven't been swept. I swept it. You don't know how." "Fair." She studied him. "What did you find?" "My father's name." Something moved across her face too fast to catch. So she knew. Malik felt anger sharpen inside him. "You're going to tell me?" "No." "Nia?" "No. Not like this. Not with that look on your face and Silas breathing down every wall in this city." "Did Silas kill him?" She said nothing. That was almost worse. "Did he kill my father?" Nia looked toward the window. Outside, a bus sighed at the curb. "Your father owed money." "To Silas?" "To men Silas owed." Malik frowned. Nia opened a drawer, took out a cigarette. Remembered she did not smoke anymore, and laid it on the desk untouched. "Your uncle's empire is not fully his," she said. "That's not an answer. It's the only answer that keeps you breathing." Malik laughed once. "Everybody suddenly is concerned about my breathing. You should try it. Thinking clearly comes after." She reached into a ledger, and removed a folded note. "I knew you'd start asking one day. I hoped I'd be gone before then." He took it. On the paper was an address and a name. Meyer Quinn. "The old debt," Nia said. "If you're trying to take Tyler Silas down, you need to know whose shadow he's been standing in." "Meyer Quinn is dead." "No, Meyer Quinn is retired. Dangerous men don't die just because people stop inviting them to dinner." Malik pocketed the note. Nia grabbed his wrist. "You're moving stupid." "I'm moving." No, you're setting fire to a room before checking who locked the doors. He pulled his wrist free. I need the real numbers. You need a priest. I probably need both. I came here first. Despite herself, Nia almost smiled. Then she sat and opened the laptop. What are you planning? A shortage. There is no shortage. There will be. She looked up slowly. You want Silas to think his men are stealing enough to force a split. No, I want the men to believe Silas already knows. Nia leaned back. The guilty ones panic. The innocent ones get angry. And Silas? Silas starts wondering why the room feels different. Nia stared at him. You're better at this than you should be. I had a teacher. You had a predator. Same tuition. She turned her laptop towards him. Columns, names, hidden accounts, paper trails, favors, notes. Silas's empire opened in front of Malik like a body on a table. He felt sick. He felt powerful. That he suspected was how domination introduced itself. But by sunset, the first rumor entered the bloodstream. Rome Bell is short. It began at Langston's shop as a question. By the barbershop, it became a possibility. At the Blue Room, just before 9, it arrived as fact. Rome Bell had stolen from Silas. Rome heard it before Silas did. That was the point. Malik watched from the end of the bar as Rome came in sweating, though the night was cool. His jaw was tight, his hands flexed. A guilty man looked one way. An innocent man accused of guilt looked almost the same. That was useful. Silas sat at the back table, the red ledger closed in front of him. He watched Rome enter. He watched the men watch Rome. Then he watched Malik watching all of them. Come here, Silas said. Malik obeyed. Rome stood near the bar, breathing hard. Silas tapped the ledger. You collect Langston? No. The room sharpened. Why? He didn't have it. I told you what to do. I know. And yet, he'll pay me Friday. Pay you? Malik let the words sit. Rome turned his head. The Crawford brothers exchanged a look. Silas' eyes stayed on Malik. You starting your own book? Maybe I'm correcting yours. Somebody whispered. Shit. Silas smiled. My nephew, he said to the room. My nephew, he said to the room, has decided numbers no longer belong to whoever speaks last. Then he opened the ledger. The page was gone. He already knew Malik could see it. Silas had known before the performance started, but knowing was not the same as controlling the reveal. Where's the page? Gone. That ain't gone because paper is. No, but paper makes men believe that has a shape. Silas looked almost proud. That hurt more than anger would have. Rome stepped forward. You letting him talk like this? Silas did not look at him. Letting, Silas said. That's a word men use when they want permission to do dumb shit. Rome's face darkened. Good, Malik thought. The hook was in. Silas closed the book. Everybody out. No one moved. Silas looked around. I said out. Chairs scraped, men left unhappy to leave and more unhappy to stay. Rome paused, waiting for Silas to call him back. Silas did not. When the door closed, uncle and nephew were alone. Silas poured himself a drink. You think Rome is the weak being. Malik kept silent. He is, but not in the way that you think. You gonna teach me? I've been teaching you. You finally started taking notes. Silas held out the glass. Malik did not take it. You found Darius, Silas said. Malik's throat tightened. My father owed you? No. You wrote his name. I wrote everybody's name. What did he owe? Silas drank. Blood. Malik stepped towards him. Silas set the glass down. You want to hit me? You should. A man ought to know what his hands are willing to do before he starts moving books. Did you kill him? No. Did you have him killed? No. Did you let him die? Silas said nothing. There are silences that deny, and there are silences that confess. This one did both. Malik nodded slowly. Then I know what you owe. Silas's face hardened. No, he said. You know what you can't fucking pay. It was the first time Malik had ever heard Silas curse in fear. He walked out before the fear became useful to the wrong man. Pressure. Rome Bell found Malik in the parking garage beneath Nia's office. That was not a coincidence. Rome did not believe in coincidence. He believed in showing up where men had nowhere clean to run. Malik had just stepped out of his car and the stairwell door opened. Rome caught it like a storm with fists. Black leather jacket, big shoulders, scar along his jaw, mint gum in his mouth. Always chewed mint gum before hurting somebody. You been saying my name, Rome said. His voice echoed off the concrete. Malik shut the car door. I say a lot of names. You got proof? Of what? Rome smiled. Don't do that cute shit with me, Malik. Malik glanced towards the security camera in the corner. Rome laughed. That camera been dead since August. Good to know. Is it? Malik put his hands in his coat pockets. Empty hands look harmless. Hidden hands made men think. He wanted Rome thinking. You stole from Silas, Malik said. Rome's eyes went flat. There it is. You denying it? I'm deciding how bad I'm going to fuck you up. Malik nodded. Fair. Rome hit him fast. Malik expected it still barely turned with the blow. Pain flashed across his cheekbone. He stumbled into the car, tasted blood, and forced himself not to swing back. Rome grabbed his collar. You think because you got Silas's blood, I won't put hands on you? I think because I got Silas's blood, you're scared to do more than this without permission. Rome shoved him harder against the car. You don't know what I'm scared of. I know you're short 27,000. Rome froze. There it was. Not the full amount. Nia had shown him more. or 27,000 was enough to prove the door existed. Rome's grip tightened, then loosened. Malik spoke through the blood in his mouth. I know Celeste, June's route, the funeral home, the side collections. You stole because you thought small looked like leakage, not theft. Rome stared at him. Silas knows? Not yet. A lie, a useful one. Rome released him. What do you want? Your loyalty. Rome laughed so hard it echoed. My loyalty? You got hit once and now you think you're the king? Nah, I got hit once because you needed to see whether I would beg. And? And you're still standing here. Rome's expression shifted. Men like Rome were not complicated. Not easy, but not complicated. He believed force should own the room. Malik needed to make him wonder where force lived. You turn on Silas, Rome said, he'll skin your ass. Maybe. It don't scare you? It scares me plenty. Rome narrowed his eyes. Then what the hell you doing? Changing who stands when the bigger monster knocks. Changing who stands where when the bigger monster knocks. Malik removed a folded paper from his pocket and held it out. Rome did not take it. Read, Malik said. Rome snatched the paper and unfolded. His face changed before he finished the first line. Maya Quinn. Even Rome knew that name. Old men whispered it. Young men pretended they didn't care. Quinn had been a lender before Silas, before the clean buildings, before every dirty dollar in the city found a bank lobby to walk through. He had financed campaigns, funerals, divorces, arsons, and miracles. Then he vanished into retirement, which only meant that his enemies had failed to outlive him. What the fuck is this? Rome asked. The debt Silas never talks about. This real? You want it not to be? Rome folded the paper slowly. If Quinn comes back, Silas got problems. Silas already has problems. You think you can handle Quinn? No. Rome blinked. The honesty unsettled him. Then why move? Because if Quinn moves, I'd rather know who's standing with me and who's standing behind me with a knife. Rome considered him. You want me to help you take the chair, then you fight whatever Silas has been holding off. I want to help you decide whether you'd rather get punished for stealing or paid for being useful. Rome smiled. You got his mouth. No, Malik said. I got his lessons. Footsteps sounded above. Both men looked towards the stairwell. Nia came down, purse over one shoulder, eyes moving from Rome to Malik's bleeding mouth. Really? She said. In a parking garage? You too done beating your chest? Or should I go and find a tire swing? Rome smiled. Miss you too, Nia. She ignored him and looked at the paper in his hand. Give it back. Rome looked at Malik. Malik nodded. Rome handed it over. Nia opened it, read the name, and closed her eyes. You gave Rome this? He needed context. He needs a leash and maybe a book with pictures. Rome laughed. Nia turned on Malik. You're moving too fast. I don't have time to move slow. You don't know that. Silas knows I found the ledger. That stopped her. What did he say? He said my father owed blood. Nia looked away. Malik felt the anger come back. What does that mean? Not here. Nia? Not here. Rome cleared his throat. I can leave. You should have left 10 minutes ago, she said. Rome looked amused, but he left. When the stairwell door closed, Nia turned on Malik. You think pressure makes truth come faster? It doesn't. It makes people lie better. I need to know what Silas did. You need to know what your father did. Malik went still. Nia regretted it immediately. What did he do? She took a breath. Darius was not innocent. I didn't say he was. You remember him as a father. The city remembers him as a man who made choices. What choices? Nia touched the scar through her eyebrow without noticing. He borrowed from Quinn to buy into Silas's business. Malik shook his head. My father hated Silas's business. After he failed at it. That hit harder than Rome's fist. Nia softened, but not much. Darius wandered out from under Silas. He thought if he had his own money, his own crew, he could beat him. He borrowed from Quinn, made promises, lost half of it, hid the rest, and left Silas holding the debt. My mother knew. She knew Darius was in trouble. She didn't know the shape of it. And Silas? Silas paid enough to keep Quinn from touching your mother, not enough to clear the debt. Why not? Because Quinn didn't want it cleared. Malik leaned against the car. Why? A living debt is more useful than a paid one. There it is again. Debt breathing. So I was fucking collateral. Nia did not answer. She did not have to. Above them, a car rolled across the garage floor. Malik closed his eyes. All those years, he thought Silas called him bait as an insult. Maybe it had been a warning. Or maybe Silas was cruel enough to make both the same thing. What does Quinn want? Malik asked. Nobody knows anymore. Where is he? Nia hesitated. If I give you that, you go see him. Yes. And if you go see him before you understand Silas, you'll mistake the older monster for the honest one. You still defending my uncle? I'm defending the truth from your appetite. The words landed clean. He wanted to hate her for them. He could not. Nia unlocked the car. Tonight, Silas is having a dinner at your mother's house. Malik stared. What? She called him. My mother doesn't call Silas. She did today. Why? Because Silas told her you found Darius in the book. The garage seemed to tilt under Malik's feet. He dragged her into this? No, Nia said. She was always in it. You were just young enough to think silence meant distance. She got into the car. Before closing the door, she looked up at him. If you want to beat Silas, stop asking what he owes you. Ask what he already paid to keep you alive. And drove away. Malik stood in the garage with his face aching, and the city humming above him like a machine full of secrets. His phone buzzed. A text from his mother. Dinner, 7. Don't be late. No love you, no explanation. Just dinner. Just the family table. The most dangerous room in my house. Chapter 4. Family table. Malik's mother lived in a small brick house on Grant Street with white curtains, a blue porch light, and a rose bush that refused to die. Tasha Vale believed in clean floors, closed blinds, and feeding people before asking why they had blood on their shirt. When Malik was a boy, he thought that was kindness. As a man, he understood it was strategy. A person with food in his mouth was slower to lie. She opened the door before he could knock. Her eyes went straight to his split lip. Wrong? Why not ask if I fail? Because you learned to walk years ago. He stepped inside. The house smelled of onions, pepper, baked chicken, and lemon polish. The same framed photographs lined the wall. Malik at 6 with missing teeth. Malik at 12 in a school uniform, scowling. His father Darius standing beside Tasha at a summer picnic, one arm around her waist, smiling like memory had no witnesses. Silas sat at the dining table beneath the yellow light. He looked too big for the room. He removed his jacket and folded it over the back of the chair. His sleeves were cuffed. His gold watch sat heavy on his wrist. In front of him was a plate he had not touched. Late, Silas said. Malik looked at his mother. She said nothing. That worried him more than if she had shouted. He sat across from Silas. Tasha brought him a plate, chicken, greens, rice, cornbread, peace food served before war. Nobody spoke for a while. Forks touched plates. Refrigerator hummed. Dog barked somewhere down the street. Finally, Tasha sat between them. I'm saying this once, she said. Neither one of you will raise your voice in my house. I don't give a damn what kingdom you think you rule outside my door. Silas nodded. Your house, your law. Malik almost laughed. His mother looked at him and killed the laugh before it arrived. Malik, she said, your uncle told me what you found. Did he tell you why he hid it? I hid it. The room narrowed around her. Malik sat his fork down. You? You? Tasha folded her hands on the tables. Short nails, no polish, working hands. Hands that had fed him, held him, and buried half his life. I asked him not to tell you about Darius. Malik looked from her to Silas. You let me hate him for nothing? No, she said. You hated him for plenty. That took the air from his anger. Tasha's voice stayed even. Your father was not the story I gave you. He loved you. That part was true. He loved me too. That was also true. But love doesn't make a man clean. Malik stared at the photograph in the hall. Darius smiled from the past, protecting him, protected by being absent. He borrowed from Quinn, Malik said. Tasha closed her eyes. So Nia told you. You knew? I knew after. After he died? After he disappeared? Malik frowned. He died in the fire. No, Silas said. One word. A door kicked open. Malik turned slowly. What? Tasha's eyes filled, but tears did not fall. Your father's body was never found. Malik stood. The chair scraped hard against the floor. His mother's hand struck the table. Sit your ass down. He sat before pride could argue. You told me He died. I told you what you needed to survive. No, you lied. Yes, the honesty came with no cushion. Malik looked at Silas. You knew he was alive? I knew he wasn't found. That's not what I asked. Silas leaned back. Darius ran. From Quinn, from everybody. Where is he? I don't know. Malik laughed. Short and ugly. Convenient. Silas's eyes hardened. You think I wanted my sister raising a boy with a ghost in the walls? You think I wanted you to watch? You wait at the windows for a man too cowardly to knock? Don't, Tasha said. But Silas had started now. Your father borrowed money he couldn't carry, lied about where it went, put your mother's name near men who don't care who screams as long as the dead answers. When Quinn came, Darius vanished. Left smoke, left rumors, left me to stand between that old bastard and this house. Malik's hands curled on the table. You're lying. Silas looked at Tasha. She did not save him. No, she said softly, he isn't. Malik felt something inside him shift. His hatred had been a room he knew in the dark. Now the furniture had moved. What did you pay? He asked Silas. Silas did not answer. Tasha did. Years. Malik turned to her. Years of what? Work, money, favors, pride. Her voice trembled once, then steadied. Your uncle paid Quinn enough to keep us breathing, not enough to free us. Why not? Silas's mouth tightened. Because Quinn didn't want money by then. What did he want? Silas looked at Malik for a long time. You. The word sat in the middle of the table. Tasha reached for Malik's hand. He pulled back before he could stop himself. Pain crossed her face. He hated himself for causing it. He hated her for earning some of it. Why me? Malik asked. Bloodline, Silas said. Quinn believes debts move through families. A son inherits what the father leaves behind. I was a child. That was your best quality. Tasha whispered. Silas. No, Malik said. Let him talk. Silas' expression was carved from old stone. Quinn wanted claim. I refused. I made myself more useful than you were. Built roots, managed risk, paid tribute, took worth beneath my dignity, and called it business. Every ugly thing you think I became this with eyes somewhere behind me. So I'm supposed to thank you? No. Forgive you? No. What then? Silas leaned forward. Understand the room before you burn it down. Tasha stood and began clearing plates, though nobody had finished eating. Her hands moved automatically the way hands move when the heart cannot. Malik looked at her. Why bring him here? She stopped at the sink, her back to them. Because if I told you alone, you would think grief made me soft. If he told you alone, you would think age made him clever. I wanted both your poisons at the same damn table. Silas almost smiled. My sister was always the smartest one. Don't flatter me because you're losing, Tasha said. That silenced him. Malik noticed. All his life he had seen men fear Silas. He had understood that Silas feared his sister differently, not physically, not even morally. He feared the part of him that she remembered before he became necessary to himself. Tasha turned back from the sink. Malik, whatever you're planning, Quinn will use it. Silas is not wrong about that. Malik looked at his uncle. And you? What will you see? Silas did not deny the question. Whatever keeps family alive. Family? Malik said. You called me bait. Silas looked away. For the first time in Malik's memory, the old man looked ashamed. Only for a second. Then the mask returned. I called you bait so you'd hate the word enough to survive it. That's your excuse? That's my truth. The two are not the same, Malik thought. Maybe they never were. His phone buzzed. Rome. Meeting at the Blue Room tonight. They think Silas weak. Then another. They think you called it. Malik looked at the screen. Silas saw enough. It's moving, Silas said. Malik stood. Tasha stepped toward him. No, I started it. Then stop it. I don't know if I can. Silas rose too. Malik looked at him. Don't come. Silas gave a dry laugh. You still think command is volume. This is mine. No, Silas said. That's what makes it dangerous. Malik opened the door. Rain had started again, soft against the porch roof. His mother came behind him. Malik. He stopped, but did not turn. I lied because I was afraid of what the truth would do. And now? Now I'm afraid of what the lie already did. He stood there another moment, then walked into the rain. Chapter 5. Takeover. The Blue Room was full when Malik arrived. Nobody was drinking. That was how he knew the night had teeth. Men stood shoulder to shoulder near the bar, along the walls, by the door, under the green exit sign. Collectors, drivers, runners, two crooked officers out of uniform, and men who had borrowed so long debt had stretched to look like employment. Rome Bell stood at the center, not Silas. That mattered. Rome turned when Malik entered, and the room turned with him. Malik felt every eye measured his bruised face, his wet coat, his empty hands. Good. Let them wonder what kind of man walks in unarmed into a room he poisoned. Nia stood near the back hallway with her arms folded. Her face said she had several opinions, and none of them were gentle. Silas was not there. That worried Malik. Rome spoke first. You called this? No. But you wanted it. Malik walked toward the center. I wanted men to stop whispering. One Crawford brother said, whispering keeps men alive. No. Whispering keeps Silas alive. The room stirred. It was dangerous because it was almost true. Malik kept going. How many of you owe because the number moved after you paid? How many of you got penalties you never agreed to? How many collected for Silas and still ended up in his book? How many watched him forgive one man and bury another for the same shit? Nobody answered. They did not need to. Silas trained silence well. Malik reached into his coat. Several hands moved toward weapons. He removed copy pages. No gun, no grand gesture, just paper, damp at the edges. He tossed them onto the table. Rome stole, Malik said. Rome's jaw tightened. Junie stole. The Crawford skimmed gas routes. Officer Price took payment from Silas and Quinn. Deacon Bell hid collection money under church repairs. Every man in here has either lied to Silas or have been lied to by him. Voices rose. Rome stepped forward. Careful. Malik faced him. You denying it? Rome looked around. He could deny. He could kill. He could wait. For Rome, waiting was the hardest. No, Rome said. The room changed. Not loudly, not all at once, but everyone understood that if Rome admitted theft and Silas was not there to punish him, something had already broken. Malik turned back to the others. I'm not here to pretend I'm cleaner than him. I'm not. I was raised in his rooms. I carried his bags. I watched your names become numbers. I learned the work. Then why the fuck we follow you? Junie asked. Malik looked at him. Because I know which pages to burn. That landed. Men trapped in books of debt dream of fire. Nia looked down. He had not told her that part. Malik pointed to the papers. Tonight, the red ledger ends. Personal debt gets reviewed. Penalties get cut. Fake charges die. If you work, you get paid before tribute. If you borrow, the number stays the number unless you sign for more. A man from the back laughed. That charity? No. Control with rules. Rules get you killed. Unclear rules get you owned. The room listened, not believed, listened. That was enough. Rome crossed his arms. And Silas? Malik felt the question in his ribs. Silas steps down. Laughter, sharp and uneasy. Each man who hated Silas found the sentence absurd. Then the front door opened. Silas entered without Harry. The laughter died instantly. He wore his overcoat, rain shining on the shoulders. Behind him stood Tasha Vale. Malik's heart lurched. What is she doing here? He asked. Silas did not answer. Tasha walked into the room as if disgust gave her ownership. Men moved out of her way. Some knew her, some only knew Silas had never allowed her near business. That made her presence its own weapon. Silas removed his gloves. I hear my nephew fixed the world. No one spoke. He walked to the center, picked up one copy page, and studied it. Messy. True, Malik said. Truth is often messy. That don't make mess true. He dropped the page, then looked at Rome. You stole 27,000? Rome did not move. And more, Silas said. Rome smiled faintly. You let me. I did. Murmurs moved through the room. Rome's smile weakened. Silas looked to Junie. You took rings from paid accounts. Junie swallowed. To the Crawfords, gas routes. Funeral homes, side money, I know. The men shifted. Silas turned slowly, placing each accusation in a face. I knew because I put slack in the rope. Slack tells you who pulls. Malik hated how well the room responded to him. The old man did not need papers. He carried proof in his voice. Silas faced Malik. You thought exposure was power? It is. No. Exposure is weather. Power is shelter after the storm. Malik felt the room leaning back towards his uncle. This was the danger Nia had warned him about. Silas did not fight facts. He absorbed them, named them, and made them kneel. Then Tasha spoke. Enough. No one breathed. Silas turned towards her, anger flashing. But she looked past him to the men. My brother knows what you stole because he taught you stealing was the only honest language in this room. Tasha, no, you don't get to shut me up here. The room went still. I have watched men come to my porch broken faces and thank them for not taking more. I have watched women hide cars 2 streets over because they owed him money they borrowed to bury somebody. I have watched my son become fluent in a sickness you all call business. Malik could not move. Tasha looked at him, and I watched Malik study it, not because he wanted to be good, because he wanted to win. Those words stung because they were true. She turned back to the room. So here's the truth none of you want. Silas is not stepping down because Malik is better. Malik is not standing up because Silas is worse. They are the same wound at different ages. Even Silas took that one. Maybe especially Silas. Tasha reached into her purse and removed the red ledger. Silas's face changed. Malik stared. You left it at my house, she said. I did not. No, she said, you didn't. Malia's eyes widened. Tasha placed the ledger on the table. My son wants pages burned. My brother wants pages kept. Men like you want pages rewritten so you come out clean. She opened the book. But every debt in here began because somebody needed something somebody else decided men could be milked. Silas stepped toward her. Rome moved slightly, blocking him. That was the first visible crack. Silas noticed. Everyone noticed. Tasha looked at Malik. Do it if you came to do it. Malik walked to the table. The ledger lay open. Names, numbers, red words. Late, soft, liar, useful, bait. He saw the last word beside his own name, Malik Vale, bait. His hands went cold. Silas said quietly, don't. Not command, warning, maybe plea. Malik took a lighter from his pocket. Nia said, Malik. He looked at her. She shook her head once, not because the ledger deserved saving, because fire does not care what else it eats. Malik closed the book. No, he said. Silas exhaled. Malik lifted the ledger. I'm not burning it. Rome frowned. Malik looked across the room. I'm reading it. That was worse. Silas understood first. His face hardened with something close to grief. Malik opened the first page and read the name aloud. Then the debt, then the payments, then the penalties, one by one. At first men flinched because secrets hate air. Then they listened because shame shared aloud becomes anger. Names became stories. Stories became patterns. Patterns became a verdict. Silas had not merely lent money. He built a private government out of desperation. By the time Malik reached the middle of the ledger, the room no longer belonged to Silas. It did not yet belong to Malik either. It belonged to the truth. Silas stood very still. Rome watched him, then turned to Malik. What now? Malik closed the ledger. Now every man here chooses. Stay under Silas and wait for Quinn to collect through him, or stand by me, settle the books, and face Quinn with clean numbers. The name moved through the room like cold water. Quinn. The hidden predator had a shape now. Silas said, you don't know what you're inviting. Malik looked at him. No, I know what you've been hiding. Same damn thing. Maybe. Rome looked around. I'm with Malik. That was the moment. Not because Rome was noble, because Rome was heavy. Once he moved, lesser men found gravity. Junie moved. The Crawfords joined. Others followed. Some out of hope, some out of fear. Some because men prefer new masters when old ones start to smell mortal. Silas watched them go. When it was done, only 3 people stood outside the new circle: Tasha, Silas, Nia. Malik faced his uncle. "You're done." Silas studied him. Then he smiled. Not happy, not proud, relieved. "I wondered how long it would take," Silas said. The room did not understand. Malik began to. Silas buttoned his coat. "The chair is yours, nephew. No fight, no curse, no reach for a gun. Just surrender, offered too easily." Victory turned in Malik's hand like a key discovering it belonged to another lock. Silas walked to the door. As he passed Malik, he leaned close. "I hope you counted the cost." Then he left. Tasha followed, but not before looking at Malik with an expression that he could not read. Nia remained. Around Malik, men argued, planned, reshaped fear into ambition. The ledger sat under his hand. The chair was open. He had taken the empire, and somewhere in the dark, an old debt woke up and turned toward him. The twist. Chapter 6. The Twist. Meyer Quinn called at dawn. Not Silas, not Rome, not Officer Price. Malik's own phone rang while he sat alone at the Blue Room's back table. The red ledger open before him and a cup of coffee going cold beside it. Unknown number. He let it ring twice. On the third, he answered. No one spoke first. Then a voice, thin with age and amused by it, said, "You have your father's patience, not his timing." Malik did not move. "Quinn?" A soft laugh. Children inherit names before they understand the cost of answering to them. "You wanted the chair empty. I wanted the chair honest. Nothing about this is honest." "No," Quinn said, "but it is clearer." Malik looked toward the window. The city was turning gray. Buildings rising through fog. "What do you want?" "You." The answer came plain. Malik closed his eyes for 1 second, then opened them. Silas said that. Silas said many things. Most were awful. A few were true. "What debt did my father leave?" "Not money, I know. Do you?" Quinn's breath rasped lightly through the line. "Darius Vale took something I value more than cash." "What?" "A promise." Malik laughed under his breath. "That's it?" Listen to the young. They think a promise is soft because nobody has beaten them to death with one yet. Malik said nothing. "Your father promised me Silas roots, police friends, judges, collection houses, and every family name in his books. He promised betrayal before he understood betrayal had logistics. Then he failed and ran." "Yes." "Where?" "I was hoping you would tell me." Malik went still. There it was, the room behind the room. "You don't know where he is?" "No." "Then why keep the dead alive?" "Because a man who runs may one day look back. Blood gives him a reason." Malik gripped the phone. "I was bait." "No, you were a bell metal." "What the hell does that mean?" "You hang it where the missing can hear." For a moment, Malik could not speak. Silas had not kept Quinn away from him completely. Silas had kept him close enough to be watched, close enough to be useful, close enough that if Darius ever returned, the old dead would know where to look. But Silas had also kept him alive. Two truths, both ugly. "What happens now?" Malik asked. Now you bring me your father. I don't know where he is. Then find him. And if I don't, then I collect what blood owes. The line went dead. Malik sat with the phone in his hand until Nia entered without knocking. She looked at him and stopped. He called. Malik nodded. What did he say? My father's alive. Nia looked away. You knew? No, I suspected. Silas knew. Silas hoped he was dead. Hope he is in knowledge. Malik stood. Where would he go? If Darius stayed hidden this long, he either had help or became someone nobody would look for. My mother? No, she would have broken eventually. He believed that, not because his mother was weak, but because grief is heavy, and people can only hold one shape for so long. Silas? Nia shook her head. Silas would never help Darius run, not after what it cost Tasha. What about Quinn? Quinn doesn't search like other men. He waits until the world gets tired and coughs up what he wants. Malik looked down at the ledger. What about the private one? You don't have it. Silas does. Nia's mouth tightened. Had. What do you mean? I checked his office after he left. False drawer was empty. Malik's pulse changed. Silas had moved the ledger before the takeover. Of course he had. The old man let Malik take the visible throne and kept the hidden map. A knock came. Rome entered without waiting. We got a problem. Malik smiled. Only one? Rome ignored that. Officer Price is gone. Nia said, gone where? Cleared his locker, wife packed, house empty. Malik looked at Nia. Quinn's leash. Rome said, and Silas's place is cleaned out too. That hit harder. What? Penthouse empty, office empty, cars gone, man vanished. Nia whispered, damn it, Silas. Malik felt the shape of it then. Not defeat, design. Silas had not stepped down but because Malik beat him. Silas had stepped down because the moment Malik claimed the chair, Quinn's claim shifted. The old debt was no longer sat on Silas. It sat on Malik. The nephew had inherited the business. The nephew had inherited the bloodline. The nephew had become the address where the old predator would send hunger. I hope you counted the cost. Malik laughed. Rome looked at him like laughter might be contagious. What's funny? I thought I was taking his empire. Nia said you were. No, Malik said. I was signing for it. The room went quiet. Outside, morning traffic thickened. People went to work, bought coffee, cursed stoplights, and pretended cities ran on schedules instead of secrets. Malik picked up the red ledger. We need Silas. Rome snorted. He just fed you to Quinn. No, he moved before Quinn did. That means he knows what the next door is. Nia said, or he wants you to think that. Same result. Rome shook his head. I say we find Quinn first. You don't find Quinn, Nia said. Quinn lets you notice weather. Malik turned to her. Where would Silas go? Nia hesitated. Nia? Your mother. Malik was already moving. He drove to Grant Street faster than sense allowed. His mother's house looked unchanged. Blue porch light, white curtains, rose bush shining with rain. Ordinary things always looked calm after ruining you. The front door was unlocked. Ma! No answer. The kitchen was clean. 2 mugs sat at the sink, and the table was a folded piece of paper with his name written in Silas's own hand. Malik opened it. Nephew, you wanted a chair, so I gave it to you. That was cruel. It was also necessary. Quinn was never going to stop while I held what he wanted. He does not want money. He wants a return. He wants Darius, or failing that, proof that the veiled blood still answers when called. Your father is alive. Your mother knows where he went, though she does not know she knows. Memory hides things from mercy. Ask her about the fire. Do not trust Rome with fear. Do not trust Nia with guilt. Do not trust yourself with revenge. The private ledger is where your father left it. If you find Darius, do not bring him to Quinn. If you fail to find him, burn everything except what proves why. What blood owes is not always payment. Sometimes it's refusal. S. A signature from Silas. Malik read it twice. Then a floorboard creaked behind him. His mother stood in the hallway, wrapped in a robe, face pale and older than it had been the night before. He came before dawn, she said. I know. He said you would come. Where is he? Gone. Where did Darius go? She flinched at the name. I don't know. Ma, I don't know. Silas said you'd remember. Tasha pressed her hand at her mouth. The fire, Malik said. Her eyes filled. For years, the fire had been the end of the story. A warehouse burned on the south edge of town. Men said Darius was inside. Silas identified what could be identified. Tasha buried an empty truth in a closed coffin and taught her son not to ask. What happened that night? Tasha sat slowly. He came here first. Malik sat across from her. Darius? She nodded. He was wet, bleeding, carrying a small brown case. You were asleep. He asked to see you. I told him no. Her voice broke. Malik waited. He said Quinn would never stop. He said Silas couldn't protect us forever. Said he had something that could end it if he got away long enough. What? I don't know. Papers, a ledger, maybe tapes. He was shaking. The private ledger? Maybe. Where did he go? Tasha closed her eyes. He said he was going somewhere Silas would never look because Silas hated the place too much. What place? The church. Malik stared. Mount Olive? She nodded. His father had hidden in the church, not from God, from Silas. Ending. Mount Olive Baptist Church sat on the corner of Gates and Mercy. Red brick darkened by rain. Windows glowing faintly with a morning light. Chapter 6. Ending. Malik passed it 1,000 times and never thought to look for his father there. That was the trick of hiding in plain sight. People search according to plan. Silas hated churches because men prayed in them after borrowing from him. Malik hated churches because his mother had wept in one over an empty coffin. So neither of them looked. Inside, the sanctuary smelled of wood polish, old hymnals, and dust warmed by weak sun. A janitor mopped the floor near the back. He was thin, stooped, gray-haired, and wearing coveralls with a name patch that said David. Malik knew before the man turned. Blood is arrogant that way. It recognizes itself and calls it truth. The man looked up. The mop stopped. For 12 years, Malik carried a dead father. The living one was smaller. That felt like another theft. Malik, Darius said. Not son, not my boy. just his name, careful, like it might break. Malik walked down the aisle slowly. He had imagined this moment without admitting he imagined it. In some versions he cried, in others he swung first. In one childish version, his father explained everything so beautifully that forgiveness became easy. Reality offered an old man with tired eyes and a mop bucket. "You alive?" Malik said. Darius nodded. It was a stupid thing to say. It was the only thing that would fit. "I wanted to come back." "Don't." Darius closed his mouth. "Good." Malik looked around the sanctuary. "You been around here the whole time?" "Not the whole time." "Long enough." "Yes." "My mother buried you." "I know." "She grieved you." "I know." "I hated Silas for you." Darius looked down. "You should hate me too." That was the first honest thing he said. Malik felt anger rise, then found exhaustion beneath it. "Quinn wants you." Darius laughed softly. "Quinn wanted me before you had teeth." "He'll take me if I don't bring you." Pain crossed Darius's face. "There it is," Malik said, fatherly concern. 12 years late, but still warm, I guess. "I stayed away to keep you safe." "No, you stayed away because safe was easier from a distance." Darius flinched. Malik almost felt bad. Almost. "Where's the private ledger?" Darius looked towards the pulpit. Behind it, beneath the loose floorboard, was a metal box. Inside were papers, tapes, photographs, names, routes, payments, and one thin black notebook wrapped in oilcloth. The private ledger. Malik opened it. Silas's handwriting, Quinn's routes, Darius's routes, police names, judge, bankers. The city's respectable spine, rotten and labeled. "This can hurt Quinn," Malik said. Darius nodded. "It can hurt everybody." "Why didn't you use it?" "I was scared." Another honest thing. Too late to be noble, useful anyway. Malik closed the notebook. Footsteps sounded near the rear doors. Rome entered first, gun lowered aside. Nia came behind him, face tight with dread. Then Silas. He looked at Darius, and for 1 second the years fell away. Malik saw not the king of a dirty room, but a brother-in-law, a rival, a man who had spent 12 years paying for another man's disappearance. "You coward," Silas said. Darius lowered his eyes. "Yes." Silas looked robbed by the agreement. Rome lifted the gun slightly. "Quinn's people are outside," Rome said. Malik looked at him. Rome shrugged. "Silas told you not to trust me with fear." Nia closed her eyes. "You stupid son of a bitch." "They pay cleaner," Rome said. Silas moved fast for an old man. Malik moved first, not towards Rome, toward the pulpit microphone. He switched it on. The old speakers cracked and hummed. Nia understood before anyone else. She ran to the side office where church services were streamed every Sunday for the sick and the absent. The camera was still mounted, the computer still connected. "Malik," Silas warned. Malik opened the private ledger and began to read. Names, payments, badge numbers, dates, judge, Quinn, Silas, Darius. He read his family shamed into the microphone and sent it to the church feed, into the cloud, into inboxes Nia knew how to reach. Into the hands of journalists, prosecutors, enemies, debtors, widows, and every person who had ever thought their suffering was private. Outside, car doors slammed. Rome cursed. Silas smiled, not because he was saved, because he was understood. Malik was not paying the debt. He was destroying the currency. Darius began to cry quietly. Tasha arrived just as Quinn's men entered the sanctuary. She came through the side door with Officer Price behind her in handcuffs. Escorted by two federal agents Malik had not known when Nia called. Nia looked almost apologetic. I don't trust myself with guilt, she said, so I outsourced. Chaos followed. Men shouted. Guns rose. Agents yelled. Rome ran and was tackled near the baptismal pool, which could have been funny if there had not been so many guns in the church. Quinn did not enter. Old predators rarely do when younger teeth are available. But his name entered. That was enough. By noon, the city had the ledger. By evening, Silas Vale was in custody, calm as a man attending a business meeting. Darius Vale surrendered too, smaller than his crimes and larger than his excuses. Rome gave names before anyone asked twice. Nia vanished for 3 days, then returned with a lawyer, a new coat, and no apology. Malik went home to his mother's house. They sat at the kitchen table without food. For once, nobody pretended hunger could fix anything. You could have run, Tasha said. So could you. I did, she said, for years. He looked at her then, not as a liar, not as a victim, as blood, complicated, unpaid, still breathing. What happens to me now, she asked. Malik thought of Silas in the cell. Darius alive and ruined. Quinn wounded but not dead. The city reading its own sickness in leaked pages. The men in the ledger discovering that freedom, like debt, came with paperwork. I don't know, he said. That felt clean. Weeks later, Malik returned to the blue room. It had been stripped, no bottles, no ledgers, no back tables, just dust and squares where furniture used to be. On the wall behind Silas's chair, someone had scratched out one word into the paint. Bait. Malik stood there for a long time, then took out a knife and carved beneath it. No more. He locked the door behind him and walked into the city. Rain had begun again, turning the streets into a black glass. In the gutter, water curled around leaves, cigarette butts, and old receipts, carrying them toward whatever waited below. For a moment, it looked like a fan. Then, it was only water. Malik kept walking, storing this thread for a group chat, no response necessary.